This is the 8849 Tank 3S disassembly. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and click on the notification bell so you'll be notified once I upload a new video. Also, if you need any tools, there are links in the description. First, the SIM tray needs to be removed. Looking at the SIM tray, we can see a red rubber gasket around the opening. Now, 12 T6 or Torque 6 screws need to be removed. Here's a look at the hard, rubberized and plastic back cover. There's a red rubber gasket which goes around the back cover, and that helps to seal the phone from any liquid or dust getting in. The NFC antenna is located over here. The two Phillips screws holding down the back camping lights need to be removed. Additional Phillips screws have to be removed. Taking a look at the top plastic cover, we see numerous antenna lines drawn, which are the light gray color lines, the dual LED flash, the night vision or infrared lights, as well as the dual secondary microphones located next to that. Here's a look at the other side. The battery cables can now be disconnected, followed by the rest of the cables. This is the emergency flashing lights as well as the camping lights on the back. As for the red and black coaxial cables, those can be disconnected by just popping them off. Looking at this bottom speaker assembly, we can see additional antenna lines drawn, which are the light gray color lines. The 4 Phillips screws on the bottom, holding the metal plate down over the connectors on the subboard, need to be removed. These 2 flex cables connect the main board to the subboard. There are 5 Phillips screws which are holding down the main board. Looking at the main board, we see the 50 megapixel primary camera, the 8 megapixel telephoto located below that, and next to the telephoto is the 64 megapixel night vision camera. Neither of the cameras have OIS or optical image stabilization. Once that cover has been removed, we see the connectors for the other 2 cameras. There's also graphite film over the shields to help transfer heat, and a liquid damage indicator sticker located here. On the other side, there's copper tape on these shields to help transfer heat, as well as a thermal pad which sits on top of the RAM, which is seated over the processor. Here's a better look with the thermal pad removed. These 3 flex cables need to be peeled off from the mid plate. Careful not to tear them when peeling them off. At this point, 13 more Phillips screws need to be removed. This is the midplate and battery assembly. We can see there are multiple batteries which are soldered together on the bottom with a controller board, basically 2 on either side, which all together add up to the 15,600 mAh capacity for the battery. The written rating on the battery doesn't show the 15,600 mAh because this conversion will be based off a 3.7 volt battery. However, if the conversion is based off the 7 volt, you get the 15,600 mAh. There's also another thermal pad located up here. The flex cable for the infrared or air blaster is located here. There are 7 Phillips screws which are holding down the projector assembly. Here's a look at the projector assembly. There's a big copper block over here to help transfer heat. There's also a heatsink underneath the copper block. Eight more Phillips screws need to be removed. The sim reader is located on this board. On the other side, we can see the proximity sensor which is connected via flex cable to this board. And this is the 50 megapixel front facing camera. The charger port is located on this subboard and there's a rubber gasket around the opening. Also, the headphone jack is connected over here. The primary microphone is located on the bottom corner and it's held in place with a cure-in-place gasket. So if you need to replace that, you'd have to actually cut out that gasket in order to release that microphone. The same goes for the earpiece speaker which is located on top. The vibrator motor is located here which is held on with some adhesive. To replace that, just apply some heat and pry it off. There's also a red rubber gasket around the housing of the fan assembly. To replace the screen, once you have everything taken apart and the midplate and battery assembly removed, you heat up the front of the phone where the screen is to loosen up the adhesive underneath, pry the old screen off, apply new adhesive and reapply the new screen, making sure you run the flex cables back to the opening of the midframe, and reassemble the phone. For the repairability score on this phone, I give it a 4 out of 10. Now it's time to put the phone back together. Once everything's back in place, flip over the phone, power it on, and you're done. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.